Hey guys, this is Coach Clay here from Unmatched Nutrition, Team Unmatched. I'm here with Philly Physiques. I'm gonna give you guys an interesting fact about Mr. Philly Physiques. He's coming up on The Bachelor next week. He is the Bachelor. Guys, that's pretty awesome, right? How do you feel about that, Phil?
Feel great.
Alright, that's a lie. But it would be funny if he was.
I was like, what fun fact are you trying to tell?
But that would be funny, wouldn't it? So anyways, today is about...
I don't think Becca would like that very much.
Right? Sorry, Becca. I apologize. But today is about cardio for prep. So I figured we had to make it interesting at the beginning because most people don't like cardio. I actually enjoy it. The reason why is...
I enjoy it for the most part.
Well, we'll get into ones that you will enjoy and ones that you won't enjoy. So there's a lot of types of cardio. Machine-wise anyway, that is. And then there's different types that we can do. There's different intensity levels. So Phil, normally when we start you off in prep, we always give you one high intensity cardio session, usually either a day or every other day. And the one that I like to use with Phil a lot, especially now, because y'all might not know, he's trying to transfer into Classic eventually as a staple, I think, of your bodybuilding. And what I love to give him is Wingates. What a Wingate sprint is, we have to do modified. We don't have a true Wingate bike. If we had a true Wingate bike, it'd be a little different. But I'll give something that everybody can do as long as you have access to any spin bike. And it's called a modified Wingate. What a modified Wingate is, you get in, you start pedaling. You get a nice little warm up going, then you start increasing your speed to your max speed you can get your feet turning. You just let them turn. And then you crank up the volume until you cannot spin that bike any longer. Now, you'll come into an issue. Phil comes into it, I'll come into it, and people bigger and stronger will come into it even before we will, which is the bike isn't strong enough to stop you from spinning. So then you give all you can as long as you can at the highest level of resistance when that happens. Normally, a sprint is 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and you feel like you're going to throw up when you're done.
Wingates, true Wingates are extremely high intensity. It's very similar to typical HIIT training. So like he was saying, you start at a low rate and then you crank up if you're not on a Wingate, like on a spin bike, you crank up the resistance as high as you can, and then you peak yourself. You're going to be out of breath, your heart rate's going to peak, which can also introduce EPOC. And it's great for muscle building as well as adding metabolic speed.
Yeah, it increases your metabolic rate. It is a HIIT training, high intensity interval training, because you will do this in interval. You do 5 to 7 sprints. If you can finish all 7 your first time, you didn't do it right. I'm going to tell you that cardio is one of the hardest ever. When you're on a real Wingate bike, it actually has an RPM target, and that's when the weight drops down onto that front wheel, and you just keep pedaling through it till it will stop you. There's nothing that you can do.
I share that from Wingate more than once.
Yes, we have videos. Actually, if you look at the beginning of our intro video that's on there now for this series, it has Travalis Blunt running me through Wingate sprints. I love it doing partner assisted because it pushes you even harder. But a Wingate sprint is an excellent source of HIIT cardio, so that's what we're going to start with. We'll start talking about HIIT.
And it's normally a really good warm up too, because you're hot and ready by the time you're done.
I love it for leg days.
The only thing you have to worry about is 1, where you're at in prep, and 2, your CNS. If you do too much HIIT and your central nervous system crashes, you can have negative effects.
And that's why we talk about 1 a day or every other day of HIIT. As you notice, that was the first thing we introduced, is because although HIIT is very, very beneficial, gets your cardiovascular system up to peak levels, at the same time, it is taxing. It is taxing. If you're getting in HIIT for real, like he said, he's thrown up more than one time. I've thrown up many times. I have pro bodybuilders, Brian DeGaia, I know I've made you throw up from him. So, I mean, Trey Siddons, I know he's done the same thing. We push ourselves, guys. And when you're in any HIIT, it doesn't matter if it's Wingates or if it's HIIT that you're doing on, track and field, or if you're doing it on your AstroTurf, but any type of HIIT that you're going to do that you're giving maximum intensity to, and then letting the heart rate come back down, you're going to get that nauseated feeling eventually once you give your 100%. So let's talk about the HIIT training. Let's talk about different styles of HIIT, things that you can do, things that I do with some of my females. My males don't see it as much. And we'll talk about a couple different things. So with HIIT, I want to make sure people understand this. It's a maximum intensity, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. My number one thing for any client I give HIIT to is the HIIT's not going to work unless you hit those highs. Mm-hmm. The lows are something you can kind of moderate to back off to, but if you're not hitting each high as a high, there's no point. You might as well just go and do steady state cardio or another version of cardio, because the point is to peak you at extremely high heart rate.
High heart rate, high output. You really want to shock your body, and HIIT generally builds muscle. So one of the HIITs that I give people are sprints. My wellness girls, some of my figure girls know this. I give them 9 40-yard sprints. Okay, they sprint down. I have them walk back. So they're maxing their heart rate out while they're running hard and as fast as they can. And a 40-yard sprint, running all out, you're gonna walk back breathing hard almost the whole time. So I mean, it's 100% from go till you stop. 40-yard sprint should end at 50 yards because your slowdown rate is going to take you 10 yards. Then you walk all the way back down. By the time they get back, if their heart rate and their breathing has came back down, they're right back into a sprint. So it's run down, sprint down, walk back, sprint down, walk back, sprint down, walk back. That is a version of HIIT. What we're doing is we're using this sprint to raise their heart rate through the roof, to exert every bit of energy from their entire body. Their legs are just firing hard. Their shoulders are firing hard. A runner, a sprinter, watch them pump their arms. That's what we want when doing it. And that walk back, we use that for our wellness girls because it helps build quads. Sprints will build quads. Long distance running will take them down. So that's why we use the sprints. We use the Wingate for the same factor for our classic guys, and for our bodybuilding guys, it really will build quads and great pre-exhaustion before getting on any quad exercise.
If you hop on a spin bike, even if it's not HIIT training, do a spin bike for 10-15 minutes before you go train quads, and I guarantee you'll walk straight into that workout with a quad pump already.
Yep. Some type of plyo hits. Have you given any girls any of the plyo hits? I know last year there's a couple programs with some plyo on it. It may have had some HIIT mixed in.
Nothing too crazy on the plyo. Right. Some like box jumps and stuff. But
so I'll give y'all one that I do with a couple of my figure girls. One of them's really stubborn in her legs, bringing down the fat. She has very good sized quads, but getting those legs nice and shredded for figure, we have to do the HIIT. And what we do is I give her prowler pushes. So I start her with 3 prowler pushes down and back. And the turf that she has is just 20 yards at that gym that we used to go to, right?
Yeah, about 20 yards.
All right, so it's about 20 yards down and back. So she goes down and back 3 times. From that, I long jump her. So then I have her long jump down and back. Then I have her do burpees. Then she rests till her heart rate comes back down. And then she's back in it again. And for her, sometimes we have to add even extra stuff in to get her heart rate maxed out, because she is a spin cycle instructor. And she does sprint classes, which if you've never done a sprint class, it's 30 minutes of just all out, give it the best you got. So her heart rate doesn't shoot up extremely fast. That's why I have to give it to her in the order that I give it to her. Because she'll get up to like 130, 140 with the prowlers, and that's it. Then once I add the long jumps in, she goes up maybe 150. And then once we add the burpees in, that puts her up into that 170 range, which is all about the only thing I can get out of her. With people doing this right next to her, I can get their heart rate in 190 to 210s, dangerous levels. I mean, that's dangerous levels.
The only thing that's gotten me up there,
Woodway?
The Woodway.
Yeah,
the Woodway sprints. Which was pretty much, I wouldn't say it was Wingate. Kind of. It's kind of like 15-second, like all out.
It's kind of like a Wingate. So, for you that don't know what a Woodway sprint is, Woodway is a treadmill that's self-powered. It's powered by, or not It's powered by the person, self-powered by you. It isn't powered. So once you get on there and you start spinning that belt, everything turns on from the electricity that it's creating by the magnetic force. So then you have a screen, it gives you a readout. But there's no limitation except self-limitation to how fast you can move this thing. So you get on there, it's curved like a U, you know, it's got a high side and a low side, and you run in between it. As you step, the belt turns. As that belt turns, it records how fast it's moving, and then you'll start to sprint on it all out. You give everything you got for whatever period you can give. And look, guys, all out. 15 seconds is a long time of all out. Y'all guys don't realize that. So when I have people tell me, oh yeah, I could go for a minute. Well, you're not doing HIIT. HIIT is 100% hard as you can go.
It's, so yeah, 10, 15 seconds for an all-out sprint.
Yep.
Because I would do, one way, actually speaking of it, this is probably one of my favorite cardios I've done for prepping. Obviously this is something that's going to be more towards the beginning of your prep, because you're not going to be doing all-out sprints a week.
Usually, yeah. Unless you can dig fucking deep.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's
with the Wingates, you know, you go from that walk, and then I've gotten my heart rate. I've actually probably the most calories I've ever burned in like a, because you had me do 10 to 12 minutes of those sprints. So it was like 10 to 12 rounds, but the first 2 rounds are normally like warm up. Those rounds don't like,
those aren't your hard rounds.
Really count. But I had a couple times where like I had to stop just because my heart rate was going so fast. I like popped down on my watch and I was peaking 196, 200. I'm pretty sure there was one time I burned, my watch had said I burned over 300 calories in 12 minutes.
Yeah, that's what happens in HIIT. I had a text this morning from one of my wellness girls, and 178 calories in 7 minutes, guys. That's a girl. I was like, what? She goes,
big
her heart rate was through the roof, guys. I mean, she was hitting 178 was her consistent pattern for her burst, and I gotta sneeze. Edit that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But so we're gonna move from HIIT because that is an essential part of cardio, but the reason why we like it is the metabolic increase that comes with it. So 5 days a week or every other day is a good way to add in HIIT. I love adding in Wingate sprints for people on their leg days prior to legs. I love adding in plyo post leg day because the shock of you landing really does help the muscles grow. So my figure girls, I get that, understand why they're doing it. And then I also do a lot of HIIT with my bikini girls with that workout in the morning. Their nighttime cardio won't be steady state. I will give them some type of plyo with HIIT built into it. So usually their resting periods are like planks and different things like that, which just to help them build a core and look good. Now going into other types of cardio, we have steady state, and we have a lot of machines for steady state, guys. I mean, tons of them.
Pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
So when you're doing difference, I would say really between HIIT and steady state, between the obvious of the highs and the lows, is going to be the amount of time.
Right.
You should never ever do HIIT any longer than 15 minutes.
I would say 15.
12.
If you can get 15 in. 15
That's what I'm saying. If somebody gives you HIIT cardio, because I've heard this before, like 30 minutes of HIIT cardio is what my coach gave me.
You're not in HIIT.
No. If you can do HIIT the way you're supposed to do HIIT for 30 minutes, you're probably winning whatever you're doing, first of all, because you're an animal.
Yeah.
But
unless you're a professional bicyclist who's going out there every day and putting in 30 to 40 miles and doing century rides every couple weeks, you don't have the endurance to do this. None of our bodies do.
HIIT cardio, I'm gonna say no longer than 15 minutes. Even 12 minutes is a lot. 12 minutes is a long time.
When we were doing 12s on the bike, dude, I was dying.
Yeah,
it's taken me 4 to 5 minutes to recover when I got off that last set.
It took me like 10.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, I was gonna say that might even be an under exaggeration. It might be much higher than that because it was taking us forever to recover coming off that. And I'm talking about getting off that bike and I'm soaked in sweat. It looks like I did a workout.
I normally get off the bike and it just gets darker around the corners. So flipping into steady state is really going to be anything over that 15-minute mark.
And I'll go over some things with you guys. So I like for bodybuilders, classic guys, and people with great metabolisms to do incline walking. That's a great steady state for them. I put it on an incline. I do hold on. So a lot of people say, don't hold on with your inclines, don't hold on with your inclines. I hold on. I put my incline up to 15. I put my pace anywhere from 3.2 to 3.7 miles per hour. And I start walking. I put on my YouTube channel and I watch myself. No, I'm just kidding. I put on YouTube and I watch YouTube. Or I'll be in a class going through, some type of diet class or some type of training class, just something educational. And I watch my programs while I'm doing that. And it buys time watching TV, and I get my heart rate up to where I want it roughly. I like heart rate around 125 beats per minute as a good indicator of fat burning. Obviously, people burn fat at different ways with their ages, their maximum outputs, and their heart rate. So, but I always use 125 to 135 as a good fat burning range for most people. So I try to put their heart rate somewhere in between there. Now, when you're uphill walking, you don't want to go to 3 degrees incline and call it a day. You're not going to get the caloric burn you want. You actually want to get in there. You want to put it up. You want to make it hard to walk. If I'm not holding on, which sometimes I don't hold on when I'm doing it, I'll do like 2 or 3 minutes not holding on. I'm struggling to stay on the treadmill.
Honestly, my shins hurt if I don't hang on. My shins wreck me.
Yeah,
if
they
I
will.
don't hang on.
And that kind of gives you that lean forward, which really hits your glutes and hams when you're leaning forward and you gotta hold. And when I hold on, I mean, I'm not death gripping it. I just rest my hands up there. I actually try not to close my hands. I just rest them up there, guys. And that's all I need is that little bit to get, keep my body moving. I like that because it really brings in nice legs, hamstrings, nice glutes. Now, going over to girls, a lot of times I don't get them that. I love the step mill with girls. They just really... Girls seem to love it too because I have them ask for it when I take it away from them. So
I personally prefer that.
I know you do.
Personally, I prefer the Stairmaster.
I know you do.
It's one of my favorites.
He always says that he loves the Stairmaster.
But that is not the case for everyone.
Right.
And it doesn't work the best for everybody either.
Right. And the good thing is, like with my wellness girls, I give it to them, but I give it to them in intervals: 3, 6, 9, 12. Restart. 3, 6, 9, 12. Reason why is I'm changing their heart rate consistently. I'm changing the output of their legs consistently because I don't want to work off muscle. Right now, the good thing is all my wellness girls are eating pretty good calories, close to 200 grams of carbs, so I don't have to worry about that. But we get close to show and those carbs start coming down, we have to worry about that. So no machine. I hate when people say like, don't do the step mill, it's going to take your legs completely off, or do this. Truthfully, first let's go natural versus not natural. Yeah. If your competitor is natural, and if you're a natural competitor yourself, or whoever's watching this, and this is your category, if you are doing your cardio, you are doing your diet, and you're doing your food, you are going to still have a chance of losing muscle mass simply because you have to diet in a caloric deficit to meet a show. But you're at much greater risk than somebody who is not natural. So if you're natural, that's where you really have to play a balancing act. You really have to. You have to make sure anytime you're doing HIIT training, you should be in a fed state. You should not do HIIT in a non-fed state. The best cardio for you would be your fasted cardio in the morning. You wake up, let the growth hormone get its natural release, stretch out a little bit, go do your cardio. Bring in a little bit of BCAAs, EAAs, and I know there's some people who are going to argue the fact, well, that gives you're not fasted anymore. It gives you a slight insulin spike. Yeah, so what? So does your saliva. Let's get past that.
I feel like there's a guy who always says that at every time I go to Vitamin Shop, he always brings up like, if you take anything before fasted, it's not fasted anymore. Well,
let's talk about that balancing act again. We want to keep the muscle that we've earned, right? So we take a little bit of BCAAs and EAAs. I have my people take 10 grams. I have them take L-carnitine too, and then start their cardio. Some of my people that are natural are still on B12, B6, MIC. MIC is choline, in case you don't know, methylene, acetylcholine. I have them still take that stuff because that's still natural stuff. It's not illegal, not allowed. So a lot of people, well, I'm natural, I can't. No, there's a lot of things you can take. I've hosted 2 natural shows for many years and turned many natural pros. and all that stuff is allowed if you compete in a natural league. So that stuff there is what keeps you from burning your muscle while you're doing your cardio, which is going to be an extended period of time, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I don't know your metabolism. It depends on you and your coach. But if you're not natural, let's go over to you're running synthetic hormones, or you're running SARMs, or you're running something that's made to save muscle mass.
So
therefore, you're not at that risk of burning off the muscle.
Which means you can do higher intensity.
You can do
longer.
Yep.
And you can also drop more body fat quickly. If you're a natural athlete, you have to stick to no more than 2 to 3 pounds a week. You don't want to see anything more than that come off, because then you're risking.
And that's when you first
tissue.
start. As you get closer to show, we're wanting to see, a pound here and there, not
a pound,
2 to
half
3.
pound a week.
Yeah,
2 to 3 is more towards the beginning.
Yeah.
But towards the end, you're doing that fine tuning, and if you're obviously not going to go in there and do HIIT cardio not fed if you're natural, because you're going to
burn the muscle you want to build,
because your glycogen storage is depleted, or if there's anything in there, it's not going to last you very long.
Right. I'll give you an example. So a lot of people don't realize this. When we wake up, what our liver does, our liver is responsible for putting glycogen and keeping our blood saturated with our glycogen, or / glucose levels, I should say. Instead of calling it glycogen will be in the muscle. So our liver makes glycogen, releases some glycogen. Our body does another thing though. Before that is we shoot up our growth hormone. When we first get up, we stretch out, we're waking up, we're getting our first growth hormone spike. That means you are ready to burn fat. That's why you take advantage of fasted cardio. If you have a growth hormone spike, growth hormone is one of the best fat burning products there is. It puts the body in lipolysis, and it really works well. People don't realize this, but like you let me use, I think it's Species Nutrition, Lipolyze. Okay, they call it Lipolyze because when you're in a fat burning state, they call it liposis. So you can burn fat. Growth hormone is the best agent for that. So just waking up, whether you're natural or not natural, you still have a growth hormone spike, or you're taking exogenous growth hormone, one or the other, and that's going to help you burn fat. So take advantage of it when you get up. And then you have some glycogen in your blood from your liver. Even if you're on low calories, low carbs, depleted, you have some being made by the body. Then you take your L-carnitine on top of it, which helps shuttle your mitochondria to pick up fat. And you want to keep that process going as long as you can in the morning. So you go out, you do your fasted cardio, okay? Then you go home, you shower, and you do some other stuff before you're taking in some food. You've had your BCAAs, you've had your body do its normal routine of what homeostasis is for your body, releasing its growth hormone. You have the liver balancing out some glycogen issues that you might have going on, or glucose blood level issues. And then you can take your first meal. And don't take it right away. Let's stay fast a little bit. Let's keep our body, also keep your body insulin sensitive. By staying fasted longer, you do help your insulin sensitivity, which also helps your muscle grow, especially if you're taking carbs in pre and post workout, which are times that it's really, really important as peri-workout nutrition. Now, I got a question for you though. I said all that. Other than the stair stepper, what machine is your favorite for steady state cardio?
Favorite for steady state? I'd have to say uphill walk.
Uphill walk.
Because the main things I would use is going to be bike, elliptical, stairmaster, and treadmill.
Right.
Uphill walk is probably my next one, just because. Well, for my last prep, you gave me the option to do outside walking.
Yeah.
Because another thing, well, I'll touch on that in a minute, but the elliptical, sometimes I don't know, sometimes like I can't get into the rhythm, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I feel like the elliptical is one of those things where, especially if you're on there for like anything over 30 minutes, like I just get into a rhythm and I have to keep going. Same with the bike. Like some days on the bike, I'm just like, I don't want to sit here. But with the uphill walking, I feel like I can keep my pace going. What I was going to touch on, or I'll let you finish because you're going to go somewhere with that.
No, my favorite to do is uphill walk. However, I usually add in 10 minutes of elliptical first because elliptical really does have your body moving totally independently. You have your upper body and your lower body moving, going back and forth, and it really does burn a good amount of fat. It is probably, if used correctly, the best fat burning machine for steady state cardio in the gym.
I do miss the fan with the assault bike.
Oh yeah, I miss the assault bike.
I miss
too.
having the assault bike. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too.
I do miss the Woodways a lot. Honestly, the Woodway was one of my favorite, but that's not a steady state.
No, that's You mean you can, but it's not.
Now,
effective.
what is your 2 cents on outdoor walking versus treadmill walking? And
all right.
Why?
I'm going to tell you guys this. So my cardio is a 30-minute outdoor walk, and I love the outdoor walk. I love the fresh air. I love getting up. I love going outdoor and walking. The thing you have to make sure you do is you're walking at a fast pace, a very good brisk pace. You're keeping your heart rate up. I walk in a hilly neighborhood, so I have ups and downs, which I love. And I love that you're getting up and going outside to do something every day, not being inside. It is good for you. It's good for your mentality. It's good for that psychological effect. Makes you feel like your day is amazing, makes you feel good. I love outdoor walking, and I do it as my cardio currently. That's what I'm doing right now, is I'm doing a 30-minute walk outdoors. I love it. However, if you're somebody who is affected by the weather, if you're affected if it's cold out, if you can't get up and get out and go outside and do it, then the treadmill is the next best spot. And the nice thing about the treadmill, there's a pro and a con. Con is it's moving your feet for you. Pro is incline, go after it. You can have consistency all the time. So that's the pro and con. If I had to pick for myself, I go outdoors. You know that.
I like the outdoors. Yeah. So that was kind of like what I wanted you to touch on, was that the treadmill is moving your feet.
Yes.
Now, when you guys are picking cardio, that is something you have to keep in mind, is that the treadmill and the Stairmaster are going to move whether you're touching it or not. Now, with the bike and the elliptical, it is your muscular power moving the entire motion, which is kind of why I like the Woodway and why I really liked, when I said the assault bike, it's the bike with the fan in the front. You get to move your hands and feet.
And you have the power. The faster you go, the harder it gets.
And now, one thing that I really like from Clay is that when he gives you spin bike or electric spin bike, recumbent bike, he always gives you how many rotations per minute you're supposed to have. And I feel like that's really important because it happens every time, I swear. If I don't give a client a rotations per minute on the spin bike, I will catch them like weaning off, and then I'll ask them like, what's your RPM per minute or for the spin bike? And then it always ends up being, I feel like 90 to 110 or 90 to 100-ish rotations per minute. And then I'll give them a level. So say my last one I remember was level 8, 90 to 100 is where I had to stay. And
level 8 is what? Adding resistance. 90 to 110 or 90 to 100 means you're pedaling at a pretty good level, especially with that resistance.
And so if you think about it, you have to physically push that spin bike.
Mm-hmm.
If you stop pushing that spin bike, it's not going to keep going. When you're on the treadmill,
it rotates your
feet. It's easier. So inevitably, to simply put it, you're picking up your foot and placing it forward. You're not driving the track backwards. When you're walking on the ground, you're actually moving your body. So would you say your muscles are more engaged?
You're engaging more full body muscle walking on the ground rather than the treadmill. So outside walk, you actually have to engage, your hamstring, engage your calf, engage everything. Pick up your leg with your quad, your hip flexor goes up. You swing your arms, especially if you're walking fast. I love outdoor walking. I do it I start at 30 minutes and I go up to 45 to 50 minutes with my preps because I like being outside. I suggest if you're somebody who has a self-discipline to make sure you're walking fast, just walking ain't gonna burn calories, guys. You have to walk fast. Find neighborhoods that have hills in them. Like I come out of my neighborhood and I walked downhill for about 300 yards. And you didn't think, oh, that's not bad. Well, actually it is, because you're stopping yourself from going.
Which is quad.
Yep. And then we turn around and we got to walk all the way uphill, about 350, 400 yards. Not quite as steep as the downhill walk. But I was saying, when we turn around and we go uphill, you're driving, trying to keep that pace up. And it's a longer distance that we're going. And then we plateau a little bit and we come back around a corner of a neighborhood. And it slowly comes back down. And then we're right back up that uphill that we went down for the 300 yards. We're walking back up it. And then we turn in the back of my neighborhood and we go down I mean, it's probably 100 yards just like this. It's crazy. Like, when we walk down it, you got to have your hands and make sure. But when we get to the bottom, everything else is uphill to our house. So we're constantly changing our surfaces, which is constantly burning more calories and working more muscles. And 3 days a week, we actually stop. There's a church next to us. We do our cardio, we come back, and right before we get to our house, there's a church right at our subdivision, and we use their parking spaces to do some type of cardio in there, whether it's goblet squats. Like, every parking space, maybe we do 10 goblet squats. And then we'll come down the next aisle, and every parking space, maybe we'll do 5 lunges, right leg lunges, the other way up it, 10 leg, left leg lunges. And we always do something like that just to throw it in, because it's me and Sarah who usually walk together. But we always try to add something in that's just a little fun at the end, just to break up the monotony and keep burning calories. So.
I was going to touch on something. I don't remember what it was.
All right, I'll touch on something. We're talking about cardio alone because of its importance to prep.
Oh, that's actually kind of what I want to touch on. Cardio is where we're trying to burn the fat.
We're targeting that, especially fasted cardio, guys. HIIT training too. We're targeting fat burning.
When you're in the gym and you're doing your muscular workout and then you're doing your training, your cardio is where we're looking to burn fat. Mm-hmm. For the most part, we're trying to build or shape muscles during your training. I do feel like I hear often like, oh, I burn a lot of fat during like that workout. Well,
burning calories.
You're burning calories.
But what do we do pairing workout? Put in calories.
And so you're fueled, so which means you're not breaking into the fat sources, which is why your pre-workout cardio, if it's not HIIT, is more to warm up to get you ready for the muscular training. The post-workout cardio, when your glycogen is depleted, is where we're looking to really burn the fat. So I definitely felt like that was something that you touched on.
And we need to talk about times. So steady state cardio, hopefully people have an idea of when you hit into fat burning mode. Does anybody know how long roughly estimate it takes? You should know, because this will tell you how much cardio you should be doing. So at that 20-minute mark, you're turning over into that fat burning mode. Even though you're burning calories the whole time, there's a time when the body actually starts to grab for fat and use its mitochondria to take the fat to the cells to start providing energy. For most people, not all, and it depends on where you are in prep and how much body fat you have, and a lot goes on this, but we use a rough estimate of 20 minutes. So if you're wondering, some people might wonder, why does my coach put 20 minutes of cardio? Because he wants to get in the edge of that fat burning mode. Once we go beyond that, we're pressing deeper and deeper in the fat burning mode and starting to use fats. Something I want to mention here, I see a commercial a lot on YouTube when I'm going, one of the little ads that they have a lot. The guy says, "You do cardio to burn fat, right?" "No, wrong." "Well, yes you do." And he says, "It burns calories." Well, let me give you guys an example of something. 3,500 calories is a pound of fat. So if you're burning calories, you're burning fat eventually. So
hopefully.
Yeah.
If you're not eating.
Yeah, if you're not eating in excess. If you're doing what we're doing, you better be, or your diet's not right. But I've seen that commercial like probably 15 times, and it just bothers me because he's trying to sell a product and trying to manipulate people by putting the wrong information out there. So 20 minutes, you're going to enter into that fat burning stage. You also don't want to do so much cardio that you're slowing down your metabolism too fast during prep, because it's something that eventually will happen. It's inevitable, but that's why you want to leave room. Preps don't start at 6 days, an hour of cardio. They usually start, maybe 3 days of fasted 20 minutes, maybe 2 days of 20 minutes post-workout, something like that, or 2 days of HIIT. And you increase your cardio as prep goes on as needed, but also to combat metabolic slowdown, you don't throw everything in at once and then let it slow down 4 weeks into prep and not be able to get it back and have nowhere else to go to except 4 hours of cardio. So, like, there is a team that I see a lot that their off season is 2 hours of cardio and their in season is 3 to 4 hours of cardio, and I don't understand that. Why don't we build our metabolism and get our homeostasis back in the off season by doing a little bit of cardio, and then when we start prep, we just put a little bit of cardio in, and then we slowly add to it, let the diet do most of the work. I mean, that's my philosophy. And then I want to go touch on one more thing, Phil, and I've said this to you 100 times. I'd rather do a little extra cardio and have more food in my diet than I would do no cardio and starve all day.
Yeah, the end of my last prep was the first time that I was like in depth of cardio.
Right.
Like uphill walking was hard.
Yeah.
Because 2019, all the way through peak week, I was morning, night, 55 minutes Stairmaster. So that's not typical for me, but he knew he could push me. I got it done. That was the week I cried in the gym on peak week. But I was extremely lean, super lean.
There's a purpose for it too. And let me give a backstory on that. Do you mind?
Yeah.
So we came out of Florida State's last year, and Phil didn't get the win. Another guy did, and it's the only show that I think that you haven't got that win like that in at that level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at national qualifying level, he got beat by another guy. It was a close call either way, but I thought Phil was the better athlete. Phil was phenomenal, but he didn't get the win over that guy. So we went into Daytona, and I told him, what's on the line now. We're not sacrificing anything. We're coming in the most shredded we could be. We're coming in with the best posing we could be, as full as we could be, and as big as we could be. But we're pressing for a win there. Mm-hmm. An overall or nothing. It's leave it all on the line. And we had a lot of good people that we knew would go into that show too. We did. A lot of smack talk in our gym from other teams. And I'll be honest with you, I left nothing on the line for him, so I pressed him that last week. I said, it's overall or nothing. Just I want see-through. I want to see your organs. You're so thin.
And it was crazy because I remember there's one video you're like pumping me up backstage, and I like go to retract my back, and you just see out of my spinal erectors just lines all the way up into my Christmas tree, and my vacuum was like literally inside out.
This thin on the side.
Honestly, I think that was one of my best conditionings for a show. But like I was saying, everything is per case, especially when it comes to cardio. Same thing with the food. Everything is per case. There was going into my last show, we didn't do any high intensity. I wasn't even doing Stairmaster. It was just walking. That was like all the cardio I was doing going in the last show because we did not want to risk
taking
anything. We were right where we needed to be, just slow roll.
On that pro level, it's a whole different ball game.
Going into the show that I was just talking about, 55 minutes Stairmaster morning and night. Same person, only a couple pounds. I was definitely a couple pounds heavier going into the last show. And let's be honest, that was natural for doing the high steady or the high Stairmaster, which is kind of actually backwards to what we were just talking about. And then going into Universe, I was on the really low intensity steady walk, and I wasn't natural. So doing the two there, each is per case. It's
what you want to accomplish with your client or yourself.
That's a good way to wrap it all back around. It's what we do is not always the safest per se in regards to overall health. We might have to push you to a point and make you do cardio to be the best, in which you might I probably did lose a little bit of muscle tissue being pushed like
very
that.
Possible.
But once again, we do what we're doing for the top spot on stage.
Right.
It's not always about being perfect.
Have you ever been the biggest guy on a stage?
I've never been the biggest guy on stage.
How many first places have you gotten?
A lot.
So that tells you don't have to be the biggest guy. You have to have the best shape with the best conditioning, have the best look, and that's what we come with. And that's what your goal should be. I mean, you cannot control your genetics of your size. I'm going to tell you guys, you can work out hard as you can, hard as you want. You will get bigger, but everybody's going to grow at a different rate, and you can't control how fast you're going to grow. You can control your conditioning, you can control your cardio, you can control your diet. Fucking get in there and control it. Don't be a little Nancy, I don't know what to call you.
It's allowed.
Yeah.
But I guess.
But don't get out there and puss out on things that are hard. We do the hard stuff to be superior on stage. Guys, cardio sucks, yes.
All cardio sucks.
But you will never see a prep that I've ever done that I didn't hit my cardios in. You're never going to see a prep I didn't hit my diets in. I'm not going to give someone else an advantage over me. If you're going to beat me, you better take it, because I'm not giving it to you. I'm going to do my cardio, and I've done 3 hours a day before. I've had to. Y'all have heard me talk about it before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need to be the leanest, the best I can, because I max my weight. I'm not the biggest guy, though. I'm heavy. I'm not as dense as some guys. I'm tall, I'm long, I'm built differently. My legs are different lengths, my arms are different lengths, than these other guys, and at my same height. So I have to bring something that they can't. And that's straight out, nose bleeding, hard as I can, get in there and train and do my cardio and do my diets, let them slip up. Because if they slip up, I'm taking it from them. And that's why I win shows. That's why I win overalls. That's why I'm in overalls. That's why I'm always top 5 in pro qualifiers. I'm not the best out there. I never will be the best out there, but I won't give you an inch. So if you slip up, you've messed up. That's our philosophy. That should be your philosophy.
And cardio should never be something to skip. I feel, besides diet, I feel like cardio is where people can have their faults the most.
I agree.
Cardio will get hard. It will suck. You will have a moment where you at least thinking about quitting, or not quitting, but like stop not doing your cardio. There's no way you'll not. There's no way you'll not think about it. All of us do it. It's completely normal.
Yeah, let me give you a hint. If you think you're going to stop 2 minutes earlier in your head, you go 2 minutes longer. Next time you do it to your time, you'll be 2 minutes earlier.
And it's the cardio. You're gonna have moments in which you're not able to give 100%. Not able to give 100%. But you should always be able to give 100%.
100%
but you're not
of what you have that time.
So the thing is, just get in there, get it done, and besides your diet, like cardio
is highly important.
I would say cardio is number 2.
Right.
Just about I would say in front of training.
Yeah, in front of prep phase. Nobody cheats on their training normally.
Yeah, you can't really
You give all you have. And
all of us enjoy training. That's why we get into bodybuilding. Because we all love lifting weights. Lifting weights is, we're doing training in the next video, but training is never an issue for anyone.
Right.
It's always going to come down to cardio and diet. And diet's going to be 1, cardio's going to be 2.
Yep.
If you're the people who are going to win on that stage are the people who ate all their food and did all their cardio.
Yep. They didn't cheat on either one.
Those 2 things are going to be the most important on your prep.
That's gonna give you an edge over everybody else who was not strong enough to do all that. You're 1 leg up on them because you've done those 2 things. So Phil, this is getting a little bit longer than what we talked about.
That was way longer than that.
I'm gonna go ahead and cap this here, and hopefully you guys got something out of this video for cardio, and hopefully
this video is long enough to watch during your cardio session.
Exactly.
So
I did get yelled at about last week's 35-minute. I'm sorry, guys, but hey, you did an extra 10 minutes of cardio.
There you go. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please go ahead and smash that like button. Please subscribe. Comment below if you like the video, and we'll see you guys on the next one for training.
The Bachelor.